Yes, good evening, everyone. So, welcome once again. And today is the 7th day of the 8th Mavin Spiritual Festival. And we are learning a lot of new things. And we'll start the program as usual with a beautiful message from the angels. So, our light angel brings those messages to us. Over to you, Nupurji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Minuji, for giving me this opportunity to read a card from Light Angel and the Angels of Light. And here I have these cards. They are made and they are, created with the help of Divine Light. And its name is also Light. Light cards. So let's take out one card from this. For today's session, of course, what does the card say? Oh, it says a beautiful message. Trust your path. If you know you would be supported, what would you do? So you will be supported by light, whether it is emotion, whether it is space, it is your room, it is your office space or your heart space. Everywhere you will be supported by light. And this is what the card says. I will show you the card also. This is so beautiful. I hope you can see this.
Yes.
Not visible.
Yeah.
I will send the picture on the group so that you can see it. And thank you very much. Over to Minuji.
So thank you so much, Nipurji, for lighting our path ahead. Thank you for that message. So I first take leave to introduce Vinay Babar. He is a trainer, business coach, and an entrepreneur, and he has held many executive positions, including that of a CEO in a paper trading company. He's a life and business coach, trainer, and consultant. And currently, he is in multiple roles as an advisor to a couple of companies, plus as an executive coach to conscious startups. And he has been awarded as for being the most inspiring life coach of the year in 2019. Wow, congratulations. And he loves to conduct short learning capsules that help many individuals struggling with mental health challenges, which is pretty common nowadays. And today he is here in the capacity of an observer for our topic, light in space and emotions. So welcome, NAJ. So you have to be a little alert and listen to both the speakers. So we depend on you.
They're wonderful speakers today, and definitely I would love to hear them and learn from them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I move on to welcome our first speaker, Ritushri.
Thank you.
She is born to bring magic into people's lives, and she's totally passionate about it. So she has been working since the age of 19 in various fields, corporate, travel, and even fashion filmmaker. And over the past many years, she has trained more than 1 lakh people nationally and internationally. Currently, she's continuing to cause miracles in people's life through the art of Vastu and magic of numbers. And today, she's going to talk about light and space. So I welcome you, Ritushri, to our platform. And over
Thank you
to
so
now.
much. Yeah, great. So good evening, everybody. And I first want to thank Mavin for having me again as a speaker. It really is my privilege to, address people and create some conversation about Vastu. I am presuming that when you say space and light in space, we are talking about the impact, which is your physical space. So given the next speaker is going to speak about emotions, so I can understand the various topics. So the minute you say light, the first thing to notice is that light actually cannot exist without darkness. So if there was no darkness, then there would be no experience of light. So, so the minute you say light, that means darkness exists. And both have, if you ask me, they're actually two sides of a coin, and they are in equal balance. You know, if you look at a day also, you know, you have sunrise and then you have a light of the sun, which is the main source of light in the universe. and then the sun sets, and subsequently there is darkness. And so the purpose of a light source is to give light in a space, and that space is darkness. So, because if there was already light, then the light, in fact, you might even experiment, and you could have looked at times that if you in broad daylight put on one of our artificial lights, which is like bulbs, you would find you might not experience that light. For you to experience that light, it has to become night. Otherwise you can't say, oh, there was light. So that, I just wanted to give you a background of the relationship between light and dark, and how we understand light and dark is light, like halka, and darkness is heavy. Okay, so there is that comparison as well. And another way to look at the same thing would be that light is guru, because guru is actually guru is both light and dark. Sorry. So I'll come to guru in a bit. So light is devtas and dark is asurs. Okay. So that's the other thing. So for you to for a devta to show up, they have to be asurs. Okay. And if you look at our culture, our history, then you would see in the Shastras and Puranas, we've heard so much that, the Devtas were always fighting the demons. Okay. Now let's come to Guru. Okay. Now Guru has both darkness and light in it. And the word Guru means throwing light on the darkness of your mind, of your soul, so, and that is the word guru. Now let's come to the house. Okay. So the house is, when you're constructing a house, if you have a house without any windows, actually you wouldn't even call it a house. You would probably call it a prison. Because you are going to get confined and restricted by the boundary. And because there is no light, there is no life. So in a house, life or the energy gets created when there is light coming in. Okay, so that's the relationship between light and space. And anytime you have, and one of the things, like in traditional Vastu, the way we say it is, ideally, you should definitely have big, large windows in the north of your house and the east of your house. So those are the directions from which light should come in. And some even actually block their south and the southwest, which I don't really recommend, because the way I look at it is light should really be coming in. But the reason for that is that the light that's coming from north and the east, and so basically all the way from north till the east, which includes northeast and in between zones as well, that is Devic energy. That means that's the energy of the gods. And when that energy comes into your space, so if you have windows in those zones, then that gives you very positive energy. And so traditional Vastu says that you kind of don't have that light leak out from the south and the west. Okay, but I don't really follow that. For me, light should be from all corners, all sides, and the more light there is, the more life there is in the house. So, in fact, if you ask me, a lot of how should I say, happiness, results, success, all of it you can get just by the fact that you have light in your house. and you would have experienced it when you go into a dark, dingy place, like somebody's house where, like very little window. Sometimes you do land up going into a house where only the artificial light is on. And if that is not on, then you feel constrained and restricted, and you're not even very expressive. So the soul of, or the purity of a human being, or the expression of a human being, is only available when the space has light in it. Because when the space has light in it, it is light, the other light, the halka wala light. So any questions so far? Anybody has any questions or comments? Anybody? Okay. Okay, now let's look at what causes light to disappear. Okay. One of the things that is there for people is people, that in the background, there is always this thing of not wanting to be cheated, not wanting to lose out, not, how should I say, anything? So they don't want to have a loss, okay, fundamentally. And inside of that, the human tendency, at least in today's society, I can say for sure, I don't know about societies earlier in this case, they like to collect things. So it's like, if you look at, in a week, you will wear 7 sets of clothes, right? And even if you were to, now the trend is, especially a celebrity trend, is that you wear an outfit once and that's it. Some of them even burn it and some of them even throw it, or they just give it away, right? But they don't wear it again. So I'm not counting those people, but people like you and me, we don't need that many clothes, or we don't need that many shoes. But what happens is, we go to the market, we like something, or some new trend comes in and we go buy it. And then we don't throw anything away. So we collect it. Now, when we have collected that, it goes into a box or a cupboard, or some kind of a store, right? You would store it in some way, right? Now, all that you have stored is actually darkness, because it has weight, it is heavy. So you want to have practices. If you don't want to get a Vastu consultant, no problems. I tell people, if the only thing that you do in your house is make it light, so that there is space for light to be there, there is space for Ma Lakshmi to come in. There is space for expression, joy, love, and laughter. And for that, what you need to do is remove the darkness. I know certain people, क्या मैं अपने family की बात कर रही हूँ. You know what? So it's like one of my uncles. He renovated one shop. When he renovated the shop, you know how when you renovate a shop, थोड़ा सा लक्कड़ बच जाता है, थोड़ा सा एक one old shutter metal का, तो वो iron के पैसे मिलते हैं, थोड़े से पत्थर बच जाता है. They don't get disposed of, they get collected. So in his house, he has this huge basement, and he's had multiple properties that he has renovated. If you ever go into that basement, it is just full of this junk. Now, one of the things that happens is, one, of course, this is junk. So there is no space to step into a basement. There's no space left. Okay. And the second thing is that the energy that is coming from the soil, okay, how it happens. So if you would have heard of geoenergy, right? So the geopathic energy that's coming from the earth, when it comes up, if it has any obstruction on its way up, then it gets deflected. Okay. So they say that even when you're constructing a house, make sure one of the first rules is that dig at least 6 feet deep. I know it costs money, but I'll tell you it's so worth it. Dig 6 feet deep, take all that mud and throw it away and get fresh mud. And fresh mud means that it doesn't have concord, it doesn't have bones, it doesn't have stones, it doesn't have anything that is not soil. Okay. And then fill that thing that you dug up with that soil. Now, in case you're making a basement, it's kind of fine because all this material gets in the 6 feet kind of, and if you remove it, you've gotten your space clean. So then you can get the energy. So if I'm talking about energy, for me, light is also energy, and energy that gives life is light. Okay. So then when the energy comes from your house, from the bottom of your house, is great, and it gives you the maximum opportunity to express yourself. So so that is one tip that I like to give everybody, that if you're constructing your house, do that. Make sure that your geopathic energy has no blockages on the way, because if this is light coming up or the energy coming up and there's a block, it'll get deflected. So your house is here and now it's gone out. It's not coming to you. It's that thing that was belonged to you because of your land, and your house is now no longer yours. So the same thing for a basement as well. Don't clutter your basement. Many people make basements and then turn it into a store. Not a good idea at all. Okay. So that's all. That's all for the moment. And if somebody has a question, then I would love to take it forward.
Yes,
Sometimes people say that geopathic stress or the energy is not good for people's health.
It's not good for people's health.
So the if it is deflected, so it's a good thing, no?
Right. So the geopathic stress that people are talking about, what they mean is this only that I'm saying. The stress comes from that the energy that you should have gotten. Geo means earth, right? Geo stands for earth. So the energy, and pathic is like you would know allopathic, homeopathic, right? Like that. So it's to do with your health, right? So I'm not sure exactly what it means, but I think it's kind of connected. Okay. So so it's like when that energy is not reaching you, what it will give you is geopathic stress. And there are some houses where you find people are generally unhealthy. Now, it could be for various other reasons as well. Honestly, I mean, I can't just put everything on geopathic stress. But one of the ways to look at geopathic stress is if you look at all the houses in the same lane, okay, you go to different colonies, go for a drive, and you will find there are times when the whole lane, either people have left those houses, or they are half built, or they're empty, and then they have kabad. You know how some plots just have junk stuff, right? People just throw and go away, right? And you would find that in the entire lane in the colony suddenly, right? I would say notice next time. You'd find 8-10 houses like that. And if you find that, then you should know that there is a geopathic stress line going underneath it. Okay. And that's why those houses are not doing well. I mean, there is no life.
What is the remedy?
There is no remedy for it, actually. If it is one of those, they're called nodes. They're node points and these happen because of could be various things. It could be electrical lines underneath. Okay. It could be because of sewage lines underneath. remedy is sell that place and go somewhere else. I love to give remedies, by the way. I feel that I'm a real jugaad person. Okay, so for practically everything, I would love to go around it, handle it, not have people spend too much money on fixing it, but just doing something such that, it can be handled by anybody. But this, Nupurji, no remedy for it.
And there is a saying that if you keep amethyst geode, then it can geode, that is cluster, that is natural amethyst. So it will help in controlling the geopathic stress.
No, it won't. So I'll tell you, definitely one of the things that people do when they build a house, I recommend to my clients as well, is you put those 9 precious stones, okay, and you put a little bit of gold and on a copper plate, and it's called Nabhi Vidhi, okay, and you put it in the center of your house. So once you've dug up your house, you take that and you put it in the earth. That putting in the earth is like giving inoculation to the earth. Okay, so जैसे बच्चों को देते हैं टीका लगाते हैं छोटे बच्चों को, तो वैसे ही ये है. So it gives life, and it's like an extended life, an extended power and energy that you've given to the earth. However, if there is geopathic stress, this doesn't really work. मतलब honestly बोलो तो दिल को बहलाने के लिए अच्छा है. I mean, we should find out. I mean, maybe I'll make a note and check out how much it has helped. I don't give this remedy, so I wouldn't be able to say.
If you say I have a case where a certain room from top to basement, if the family person are staying in that room, they will have stress, and the person is suffering from cancer also. They got diagnosed with the cancer, and they were unable to diagnose the reason for it. But the moment they stay in those room, that is their master bedroom, they were facing a lot of health issues, and cancer was one of the things which I noticed there was there.
In all the houses, right?
In one house, the
In one
same
house.
in one house. So
In
that
all the floors. In all
in
the
all
floors
the floor.
in the
Yeah,
same.
it is
same.
the same. Yes.
Right. So that is not geopathic. Like I said to you a little while back, that it's not that geopathic always impacts. There are other reasons as well. So they could have been either of the 3 zones. Okay, there are 3 zones which are recommended not to be slept in or worked in or having a kitchen in, or because those are the 3 zones that are ideal for your toilets. Okay, either toilets, or you can do other functions as well, like it could be a place where you could allow yourself to detox, and the third is where you can if you want to analyze something, or so basically for analysis, the third is, so the first is the area south of southwest. So in your the case that you're talking about, it could have been south of southwest, which is actually a disposal area, okay, which is exactly perfect for a toilet. And when I say toilet, I mean the WC. The second is the west of northwest, which is the detox area. And if people are sleeping there, they get depressed. Okay. And in the first one, if they're sleeping in the southwest, they get diseases and illnesses which are incurable. Okay. And the third is the east of southeast, which is the anxiety area, but it also is the area of churning and analysis. Okay, in fact, both east southeast and west northwest are very good for a washing machine. To put your washing machine, because it's churning there. Okay, so if they got cancer, 90% of chances are that they had a toilet in the northeast.
You're
In-
right there.
Say that
You
again.
are right. They have toilet in the north.
Yeah, northeast.
Not northeast like that.
Yeah.
They have the toilet and I asked them to block it.
No, don't block it. You have to remove it.
They can't remove it.
No, you can. You can just remove the WC. See, if you've blocked it, even if it's a rented house, okay, take the WC out, put it on the side, and then close the hole.
Oh.
Because till you've not done that, for the universe, that toilet exists. Many
Okay.
people do, many people say, oh नहीं हमने बंद कर दिया है, हमने उसको टेप लगा दिया है.
Yeah, that is what they say.
हाँ, कोई यूज नहीं करता है. दरवाजों के लिए भी लोग बोलते हैं, जैसे कुछ एंट्रेंसेस होते हैं जो बहुत बैड होते हैं. तो that doesn't give you the result. So if you really want the result, and especially for cancer, we are talking about for Northeast, like my partner's sister, she had gotten Vastu done from me and she had moved into this house. And so in her kitchen, there was Northeast, and then there was the next zone, which is east of Northeast. Okay. So imagine like the stove was here. Okay. And this was Northeast, which is a big no. That can also cause cancer. So I told her, move the hob from here to here, because it was changing zones, and that was fine. So I said, do it, and you're good to go. Rest of the things we had handled. Now, unfortunately, the chimney was above this area, this side, right? So we didn't change this chimney. So chimney was above this, and I told her to put the hob here. And literally that close I'm talking about, okay? Then I got to know, like 9 months to a year later, she's been diagnosed with cancer.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was like, अरे मैंने तो इसके घर का वास्तु किया हुआ, ये कैसे हो सकता है? I was like, one of the things that I'm very confident about, right? So I went to see her, not see the vastu of her house, I went to see her. And it was thankfully early stage anyways. So then I said, okay, let me see your kitchen. So I just walked into the kitchen and I pulled out the map and I checked and I saw, oh God, the hob, because women of the house don't really cook, the maids cook, right? And the maids don't know that this is happening. So she had put the hob back to where it was not supposed to be. Besides that, when I had done Vastu, they didn't have, at that time, they didn't have the microwave, they didn't have the kettle. It was naya tha. Matlab they were going to shift. So they asked me to check it before they shifted, right? So the oven, microwave was in that place, the kettle was in that place, the toaster was in that place. Now, any heating equipment, if you put in the Northeast, is like a big no, So then I told her, I said, okay, firstly to move everything, get a table put. It was coming in the door of the servant's entry. I said, I don't care. I need to get you back to your health. Up to family tha, So I told her, the servants will come from outside. Don't worry. They don't need to come from their entry into the kitchen. We put a table there. We put the microwave and everything. No, we just put the hob there first. Then we put another microwave in the other side, the flip side of the kitchen in one corner. And today she's hale and hearty. This is like some six years before COVID. So at least 6 years.
So
Amazing.
is there any relationship, like Northeast is the zone where, the sun, and it's a zone of light,
It is.
but we don't want fire. What is the
No.
correlation?
So, see, Northeast is one of the most critical zones for a Vastu consultant. Like, first thing you would see is Northeast all right or not? And I'll tell you the reason why. But you want to know that any Vastu consultant will first check कि Northeast में क्या हो रहा है. Okay, उसमें टॉयलेट नहीं होना चाहिए, उसमें किचन नहीं होना चाहिए, उसमें कूड़ा कबाड़ तो एकदम नहीं होना चाहिए, डस्टबिन्स एंड ऑल इंक्लूडेड, राइट, स्टोर नहीं होना चाहिए, एंड उसमें बेडरूम भी नहीं होना चाहिए. ओके, क्योंकि जो आई डोंट नो इफ यू हर्ड द वर्ड वास्तु पुरुष. हैव यू हर्ड ऑफ द वर्ड वास्तु पुरुष? Okay, so when you, if you, this is your map and you put, this is a Vastu Purush, imagine this is a Vastu Purush. Okay, so the Vastu Purush is placed on the map. This side where the head of the Vastu Purush is, that is northeast. So if you've got fire there, what have you put fire to? To your brain. Got that? If you've got a toilet there, then what have you done? You've put your head in the pot. So it's now, there's no clarity, there's no wisdom. And of course, it is going to cause health issues as well. Okay, so that's the connection for that. But light, see, when we're saying light now, Shabnam, is different from fire. Because fire is not really the source of light. Fire gives you energy, that gives you heat. And light as an energy source dispels darkness. Doesn't necessarily, and even if it gives you heat, like सर्दियों में धूप में अच्छा लगता है, warm लगता है, पर गरम नहीं होता है. Okay, so they are different. Did you get that? So the light is different from fire. So there, it's not a paradox, that is. Vinay, you were saying something?
No, just I was wondering because when I bought this house which I'm living in 2 years back, and the kitchen was at the northeast, and I shifted the kitchen to northeast to somewhere else. Because one of the person was saying that when you have kitchen in the northeast, it's like you are burning money consistently. So now you give me the perspective of brain. So I'm just was wondering whether what money or brain or
you've not really burnt money, but you've burnt your brain, and then brain controls everything.
That's
you
what.
know. So, like you wouldn't have the clarity or of decision making. You wouldn't be able
That was
to.
indirect connection that he was talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wouldn't, but definitely not money. I mean, there are other zones for money. Northeast, the way I know it, is not money.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah. It's vision. So maybe connected with vision, because definitely it's vision, northeast. So, and I guess if your vision's gone, or if it is full of shit, or it's full of fire, then I guess money doesn't come.
Got that. Thank you so much for the wonderful explanation.
Welcome. Okay, what else?
Yeah. Thank you, Ritushri. That was an amazing talk, very enlightening as well. So we'll encourage the others to ask questions a little later on. We'll first invite our next speaker,
please.
Bhavna Monga. So I would request you to, I hope you stay put
I
here.
will. I'd love to hear her.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll put myself on off video.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Okay.
So I invite our next speaker, Bhavna Monga. She has a multifaceted profile, being an author, an emotional wellness expert, a personal transformations expert, coach, plus a Mokshapatam reader, a psychotherapist, a pranic healer. And she is blessed with an ambition to help people with their relationships through her coaching sessions and through her Mokshapatam readings. And she helps her clients to shift their perspective about situations in life. And today she's going to share her perspectives on light and emotions. So I welcome you, Bhavna Mongaji. Please, over to you now. Good evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Meenuji, for having me. Thank you, Mavin, for organizing such beautiful sessions, as always. So I'd like to share a PPT. Meanwhile, we'll start the session. So is it visible? Is the PPT visible to all?
Yes,
Yes,
it's
yes.
visible.
All right. So,
Visible
this time the topic was really tricky for me for, concluding that how light actually affects our emotions. And I have tried to study this, it was an opportunity for me to also deep dig the philosophy behind light and emotions further. So I tried to, from a general perspective, I've tried to explore this topic from different perspectives. And in next some, few minutes, though the PPT is pretty long, I'll try and cover all the aspects around it. So let us understand what light is. And light and emotions have a fascinating relationship. Light is just doesn't enable us to see. It also affects our well-being in various forms. So in this, coming slides, we'll be looking on to it. So the first question which comes in our mind is, why do we perceive red to be red? I think in schools, we have learned about the physics behind light. So it is, we get a light from a source, then it falls to an object. All the colors which are, falling on the object get absorbed, and red color is reflected, which further goes in our brain. And thus we perceive red to be red, right? It's a very basic physics concept. But what happens if we see same object in different colored light? As we all know that if we change the color of the light, thus the perception, the thing we perceive is also going to change. So as an example, it is being prevalent when, right? Light and its ability to generate different emotional responses. Yes, it has. You feel warm in red light. Let's go through that. Red light is associated with energy, passion, and intensity. So we always say red to be the color of love, heart, right? So it emits red color. That is why it is being denoted by this. Color of blood is also right, red. But when there is too much red, then you may start feeling restless or agitated due to that exposure. When we talk about orange light, it is warm, vibrant, and associated with enthusiasm, creativity, and warmth. It can also promote the feeling of energy, friendliness, optimism. Orange light often creates welcoming and cheerful atmosphere. Yellow light is linked with happiness, optimism, and positivity. It can evoke the feeling of joy, warmth, and energy. I have a small thing when we were growing up. So our friends used to tell, whenever you are going ahead with a friendship, you should always give a yellow rose. I think most of us can relate with that. Instead of red, it's if you're giving red rose to someone, it means that you're showing your, love towards the person. And if you're gifting a yellow rose, it means that you are showing friendliness to the person. Moving further, green light is associated with balance and harmony. And it also talk as in green is a color of earth. When it is a lot of plantation around, it also give a feeling of renewal and growth. Then we talk about blue light. It is calming and serene qualities. It can reduce stress and promote sense of focus. Purple light it can be associated with luxury, creativity. It also encourages the sense of introspection and creativity further. White light, everyone knows about it, purity, clarity, and neutrality. It can promote the sense of cleanliness, simplicity. White light is often used to create a neutral and well-lit environment. I still remember when I was considering studying interiors, the first question they asked me that what is the color of wall you would, for the hospital, which color you are going to have. So normally it is being said that we should go for, neutral colors like maybe white or something like that. But why? Because it has a similar effect on all the people. That is why hospital walls are preferably painted white in color. So whenever we are planning something, as it color has an emotional effect on our well-being, so we should always consider that how a particular color is affecting you. And you should go by your own preferences based on your cultural background. So further effects we can study around it. So when we are talking about that, it is not about the color. We need to understand there's other aspects of colors, like how bright it is, how sharp the color is. So these are the aspects, if we study, we'll be able to see how to modulate around it. So when we talk about natural light, which is sunlight, it triggers the serotonin and the neurotransmitters, which can actually boost the mood and help elevating the symptoms of depression. It is being said that a person who is suffering from depression, if he tend to spend about an hour, 20 minutes and 2 hours in natural sunlight in the morning, then his mood will increase, will be more happy, and his overall well-being and energy levels are going to increase. Additionally, if a person is in sync with this natural light, then his cardiac rhythm, which is about when you wake up and when you do daily tasks, is going to improve. Apart from that, sleep patterns will be better and energy level will be high. So that is why most of the people say having yoga practices in the morning. So this is the major reason behind it. Let's talk about temperature of the color. Different colors of light can evoke different emotional responses. Like when we talk about when you need to increase the temperature of a room or a space, then you go for red, oranges, and yellow. And cooler colors like blue, green they might give a sense of calmness and tranquility. So it is being also done in a research project when blind people are given a set of colors and their eyes were closed. When you dip your finger and experience the color of the watercolor ya koi bhi color of a liquid or semi-liquid thing, when they dip their fingers in the colored bottle, by touching itself, they can identify whether it's a cool color or a hot color. So this is the kind of sensitivity human fingers also have. We can just sense colors by touching it based on its temperature. Then the intensity. Bright light can increase alertness and energy, while dimmer light might encourage relaxation and a sense of intimacy. So whenever we are planning a room for our child, or maybe when we are trying to set a cardiac rhythm for a child who is about 6 months or 8 months, what we try and do is, whenever we are making the child sleep during the daytime, we make sure the light of the room is on. And during evenings, we should reduce the light so that he can understand, his body can understand that how, like, this is a daytime and this is the nighttime. And by using this, once the child is about 5 months, 6 months, he can get in sync with this rhythm, and his sleeping and waking up pattern can be set based on this, light intensity. So based on this, also one should choose mindfully the color of the room, bedroom especially, or maybe study room. If you really want to be alert, go for a dark, intense colors where the brightness is higher. And if you want planning to design maybe a bedroom, the color should be more dull. We tend to use artificial light to enhance the overall space so that one can have a different feeling around it. So as I've been mentioning this, architects, interior designers, psychologists, even shopkeepers or whosoever, they use lighting in a specific way which can promote your buying or your perception of a particular object. So if you are going to buy a cloth, for example, if it is too bright and you're not able to, you tend not to enjoy the buying experience because light is too harsh on you. And the people have observed their sales are pretty low. So based on the situation and the product, they plan the color of the shops and retail places so that one can have a desired effect. So the question arises after, like, if I'm going too fast, please stop me because there's so many slides I need to cover. So may I go ahead, or do I have, like, is anyone having
Yeah, it's totally fine.
They are very easy things. Thank you. So how there are few things which actually affect our internal environment is by, due to light, the internal clock, hormone production, and neurological process are being affected highly. So first thing we need to understand about the neurotransmitters. Light exposure influences the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin, which I have mentioned earlier also. Serotonin plays a crucial role in mood regulation, or it can also be called as feel good neurotransmitter. Exposure to a natural light, as in we discussed earlier, help reduce brain of serotonin. So if the serotonin level in your blood is less, one tend to feel low, and which is a major cause behind depression, right? Then there is something called cardiac rhythm regulation, which I have already mentioned about. This rhythm influences various physiological process, which includes sleep-wake cycles, hormone production, and body temperature. So now it is too much, there's a lot of conversation about your sleeping time due to, use of mobile or other lights, because all the lights which we are being exposed are artificial lights, due to which our rhythm is already being disturbed, and it is causing a lot of lifestyle issues. So there's a lot of talk around it, and normally doctors advise all of us to sleep maximum by 9ish or 10ish or 11ish at max without any gadgets around. If you're able to do that, overall, you're better, you're more competent, and your alertness is higher. Then there's something called hormonal imbalances which occur. So how light affect the hormonal balances? Melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone which actually regulate our sleep. So अगर किसी का melatonin कम है, तो उसका sleep delay होता है. Despite of all the efforts, one is not able to sleep. So what light does is it controls the melatonin. So if you're during the darker time, melatonin increases, the supply of melatonin increase in our body. And once you get higher melatonin, you tend to get sleepy, and your sleep cycle get regulated. So melatonin is used to promote relaxation and preparing body for the sleep. So this is the benefit of sleep, and these are the hormones which are generated in the body due to the exposure of light. Then we talk about color psychology into this, and it can, apart from your hormones and neurotransmitter, it also invoke feeling of calmness and sadness, which we have already discussed. Then there are psychological association. In our country, luckily, we don't experience SAD, which is seasonal associative depression. But in other countries which are colder in nature, there are high chances that people suffer from these seasonal changes, and their vitality become low, right? So one has to be very mindful while choosing the lights and by having an exposure towards light. So once you understand the psychological and physiological mechanism through which light influences the body, it allows us to appreciate its role and shaping our emotions and overall well-being. So up till now, what I've tried you to give an overview of that, how light affects us. When you know that if you want to relax, you can change and alter your lighting around and go in a state of relaxation. You can choose to go in a state of excitement, fun. That can also help you in your that you can also inculcate in your day-to-day practices. So if you apply these things, your relaxation, focus, comfort, and productivity is going to increase tremendously. Further, how we can do is by using natural light exposure as a tip. Incorporate a lot of natural lights in your space, have a lot of windows, skylights, and open area in your house. Natural light positively impact the mood. Now there are workspaces which are being designed where there's a lot of open light and natural lights are there. We can see a lot of glass buildings around. The whole idea and the concept zone is behind that. There are a lot of new offices which are coming, or new workplaces. They are now using warmer tones, which can evoke the feeling of comforts, and cooler tones where the blues and greens are used to prevent the sense of calmness. So based on the work pressure on the employee, now strategically, they are also using the color temperature so that one can have its effective usage. So now, with evolving science and AI thing, people are using dynamic lighting control where you can reduce or increase the brightness of the area to create the required environment. So when the pressure time is high, they try to increase the brightness of the area so that people can feel active and give them more productivity to the workplace. So then people are planning, what people are employing is emotionally tailored environment. For example, places like bedrooms and meditation, soft and warm lightings are used, and areas meant for productivity, or they opt for bright, cooler lighting to enhance the focus and energy. Then there are various lighting design techniques. Ages back, if we talk about 3-4 decades back, then there was no manipulation around the light. But now there's different kinds of light so that you can play around the light and change the perception of the space. If you apply the right lighting at the right place, the space can look bigger. Or if you plan it that way, it can make it smaller. Then you can have time-based lighting changes as well. Then psychological association, people are highly using to leverage the productivity and increase the positivity by use of light. So the question now arises, as in we have talked about ki hum log, all of us, we're being blessed to perceive and see the things around. So how do blind people perceive the light? This is a very important question, because when we can't see, when are totally blindfolded, are we able to see and perceive the light? This is a major question which actually popped up in my mind. I'm sure some of us are also having a similar inquisitiveness. So there's something called circadian rhythm, as in I have discussed. People who are blind, I'm talking about those who are totally blind. Okay? I'm not talking about those people who are partially blind. When we are talking about totally blind, is that they can't even see even a tint of it. They also are able to detect the cardiac rhythm, but though they have some challenges, they have to practice it. But after practicing, they can easily, their body can follow the rhythm and they can tell whether the sun is there or not. There are non-visual responses to the light. Like there are receptors in our retina, which actually helps to perceive light even when we are not able to see. So the answer is that despite of all the ailments or all the disabilities, we being blessed with other sources to understand and perceive things from the outer world. So again, it is a repetition that for them, blind people may have emotional responses to the changes in light and intensity, as I mentioned in the experiment which is being done with the liquid color, semi-liquid color. Similarly, it was an experiment which was done in which a blind person was kept in a room with different colored light, and the person was able to perceive light, and there was an emotional change in the person. Then environmental cues also help them to understanding whether this time of the day is morning or this time of the day is evening, whether they are getting a natural light or a man-made. So what happens? Ye to ho gaya people who are like unfortunately blind. But what will happen to your body if you choose to stay in darkness for a long period? One, disruption of cardiac rhythm, which we have already talked about. Then mood changes. Third is vitamin D deficiency. Body fatigue and other things are going to happen. It is going to impact the cognitive function, as in we are not actively involved and our body is not getting the stimulation from outer world in the form of light. It is going to impact our cognition. Deterioration and psychological impact is going to happen. There is our high potential health risk, as in I've talked earlier about seasonal affective disorders and depressions and other kind of depression. One is exposed, but it is important. It is not like that. You know, one is inside the room for 3 days and there's no exposure for a longer period, and it is based on the internal clock and the current mental strength of a person. These things are going to affect the overall well-being of a person. So further, significance of light in spiritual and its impact on emotion. What so light को हमने physical और physics की form में तो पढ़ लिया. You know, it was more like that. But let us understand its effect on spirituality, how light is being perceived, and how how emotions are going to get affected due to that. So light in philosophical term is also being talked about inner enlightenment. In various spiritual traditions, light symbolizes inner wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awakening. Finding inner light or enlightenment often leads to emotion of clarity, peace, and joy. So when one is working towards inner enlightenment, and you know, it's a good thing we are on this platform where we talk about inner enlightened light only. And Mavin is a platform which talks about spirituality and wisdom. So light is all about it. I think the theme of the whole season was also this. We now talk of then after that, light can also be connected with purity and divinity. Light is frequently associated with purity and divinity. It represents goodness, truth, and presence of higher powers or divine beings, invoking emotions for the reverence, awe, and spiritual connection. So light is also perceived as an element of aura. Me being a pranic healing practitioner, we also study light in a various form and give its effects and consumes and study the aura from the different perspective. Light is being used in healing transformation, as I have mentioned, being a pranic healing. Light is seen as a source of healing and transformation, capable of dispelling darkness, both physical and metaphorical terms. It can bring emotional healing, comfort, and a sense of renewal. Light is also being seen as a guidance and protection. Light is often considered as a symbol of guidance and protection. Emotionally, it can invoke feeling of safety, reassurance, and trust, providing a sense of being watched over and guided along with one's spiritual path. Transcendence and higher consciousness. So whenever we talk about God, we talk about universe, we talk about higher consciousness, we talk about light. It also signifies balance and harmony. And both of them, as in the previous session also, we talked about that the space where darkness exists, light can only, the place where darkness is there, light can exist. So it is always complementary in nature. So the balance between the opposing energy can only be can only be brought through light only. So it also signifies the nature of duality of human life or life in itself. So there are many spiritual practices, and in past few days or in future also, we are going to experience a various form of meditation where we invoke specific emotion using various form of lights. So you can invoke emotion using different light forms, and you can experience the change going and achieve the sense of hope, inspiration, and inner peace. So the question arises, can light therapy be used for treating various ailments? Answers goes yes. So seasonal affective disorder, light therapy is commonly used in SAD, a type of depression which occurs specific time of the year, usually in fall and winter when neutral sunlight is reduced. Exposure to bright lights, often through spatial light boxes that mimic natural sunlight, can help alleviating the symptoms. And it's a well-written, study in this area. Then light therapies can also help in doing, in balancing the sleep disorders. So as I have discussed about the the case when we are doing a training of a child cardiac rhythm, then we can also do it for elderlies. Then skin conditions, there is something called UVB phototherapy technique, in which eczema, psoriasis, and jaundice can be treated. Most of the children now, when they are born, they are having a slight jaundice, like within the first week of their birth, they experience jaundice. So that is being normally treated using this UVP phototherapy. It helps reducing the jaundice. Mood disorders and depression. So light therapy is now being extensively used in other psychological disorders to alter the mood of a human being to the people. Then pain management using LED therapy, it help reducing the pain, inflammation like arthritis, joint disorders, and muscle injuries. So when we talk about red light, it also signifies the warmth and the heat. So normally red light is used to give the hot therapies, and blue light or violet light is used to give the cold therapy in the people. Then wound healing. Light therapy also work in in a lower form of laser therapy. It is seen to reduce inflammation and promote healthy and faster repair of the tissue. Cardiac rhythm disorders, light therapy is also effective doing that. There's a shift work disorders where people who are sleeping during the daytime and working in the evenings and night due to this BPO culture. So these things have really, witnessed that these people are suffering from cardiac rhythm disorders, and we can plan and reschedule things after their shifts are over to, to prevent those concerns. So one has to be very conscious about this thing, that light therapy is always being administered in a controlled setting and should be conducted under guidance of a healthcare professional to ensure safety and effectiveness. The specific wavelength, duration, intensity of light vary on the condition of the person being treated. So it should not happen that you know this and you start doing it yourself. Mildly on a regular basis, one can do it in a very in case you want little trials, but it should always be administered under an expert guidance. So let us understand about what kind of light therapies are available. There's one thing called bright light therapy. We already talked about SAD. The fundamental is light, and light is always associated with the wavelength of the light. So there's a box and the person is being, asked to sit in that box. Then there's something called blue light therapy to treating skin conditions. Red light therapy for treating, arthritis or pain relief. UVB for jaundice. Low-level laser therapies, down stimulation. This involves gradually increasing the intensity of the light in the morning to stimulate the natural sunrise. It used to regulate the circadian rhythm and to improve wakefulness, particularly for those with seasonal mood disorders and irregular sleep pattern. There's something called further is green light therapy. It is not very commonly used, but it is used to control chronic pains and improve overall well-being of the person. Now let us talk about chakras. Chakras, I've been running through the PPT. Chakras are the, so why am I running through? So that I can touch point all the bases and can get maximum from this session. So if I'm really going fast, do tell me, I'm gonna hold it for some time. Right. So let us talk about chakras. As we are all aware, the chakras are associated with colors. And colors also emit sun, because there are clairvoyants who have, based on their experiences, they have seen the color of the chakras. So now, based on that, we can, use these color therapies, and you can use this colors logic in healing ourselves and strengthening our chakras, right? As we all know, or rather most of us are aware, that there are 7 chakras, and every chakra is associated with a color: red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue, and indigo. The chakra which perceive light is crown chakra, which we all know very well. But the other chakras, other chakras also, can build up, or we can clean or heal our chakras using this light or color therapies. So we all know, if just to go through it, root chakra talks about stability, security, and being grounded. It also talks about safety and physical well-being. Sacral chakra talks about, it's orange in color. It talks about emotion, creativity, and sexuality. It also talks about balance and creativity and emotional expression. Solar plexus talks about self-esteem, personal power, confidence. When it is balanced, it gives empowerment and self-assurance. Heart chakra talks about, it is associated with color green or sometimes pink. It talks about compassion, love, and emotional balance for others. Throat chakra talks about self-expression. The color is blue. And when it is balanced, the clear communication and authentic expression comes out of the person. Third eye chakra, which is Ajna, linked with color indigo, sometimes purple. It is associated with intuition, perception, and insight. If the chakra is balanced, then it enhances the inner wisdom and intuition. The crown chakra, which is majorly the seventh chakra, associated with the color of violet and white. This represents spirituality, consciousness, and connection to the universe and higher self. So normally, crown, third eye chakra ke through, we connect ourselves to the universe. When your chakra is balanced, it leads to sense of spirituality, fulfillment, and higher awareness. So as we have already discussed, and I'm reiterating it again and again so that some part can go inside our brain and we can use them practically. So the holistic practices, we can use light as a part of holistic practice and balance and activate these chakras. For instance, using a colored light during the meditation or visualization exercise, which we can particularly use to align a specific chakra, aiming to bring emotional, physical, and spiritual harmony. So let us see through an example that how can one strengthen root chakra using a color or light therapy. So first thing, if you really want to, so the color of the root chakra is red, right? So what you can do is, you can have a red color cushion. If you really want to strengthen, change the environment of your room towards red. If you want to strengthen your root chakra, you be in an environment, there's a lot of red color. You can use a red color cushion. You can have a red lighting in the room. Then visualize, close your eyes the way we do other visualization techniques. Close your eyes and visualize a bright, vibrant light at the base of your spine, where root chakra is located. Imagine the red light is growing stronger and more stable. Symbolize and balance the energized root chakra. Then meditate on that chakra. During meditation or mindfulness practice, focus on the red color. You might imagine yourself surrounded by a warm, grounded red light, or concentrate on a red object to support your meditation on a root chakra. Then, if you really want to feel strong and you want to support your root chakra, use the clothing and accessories which are prominently are of red colors, right? You can use red scarf, jewelry, clothing that create your personal connection with red. Then you can consume a lot of red fruits, which can actually help strengthening your root chakra. So this is the practical application of color therapy and how we can use. So there are various holistic therapies which we can use to promote your overall well-being. There's one thing called color therapy. These are the therapies which people are being practicing over decades, and this can help your, this way you can use these therapies to improve your overall wellness. One is color therapy, chromotherapy, that you sit in that light and have the enhanced view. Then what you can do, you can use light therapy, as in we have talked specifically is in case of depression, sleep disorder, and SAD, that you can sit in natural light, or maybe you can have an environment in your home where you are getting an exposure of natural light. Then one can use crystal therapy. People wear crystals and they surround themselves to promote the healing of the specific chakra. Then there's something called color puncture. People who are practicing this, they use combined color and acupuncture point to get the desired result. Then this auricultural therapy, auriculoto therapy, sorry for this, and it is majorly being done around the ear. Then bioptron therapies, I'm again sorry, it is uses polarized light to stimulate the body's natural healing process. It is believed to help the pain relief, wound healing, and skin condition. So this is the therapies which now are being very prevalently or commonly being used in the holistic practices. And they are safe, but still one need expert to administer them, one. And second, they are complementary therapies. This should not be replaced from any of the medical treatment one is undergoing.
That was really awesome, Bhavna ji. Very
Yeah,
well
very
explained.
extensive, I'm sure. So if you can give me one more minute, I can just finish and
Sure,
I'll
sure,
share
please.
this PPT to all, in the
Please.
group. Will that be okay? I was just running through it. I'm sorry for that. So how you can in day-to-day life integrate it? ये तो हमारा practitioner's point of view से हो गया था. Now I really want to talk about how you can use that. One, you can change your home environment. Second, you can increase the light exposure. Then one can be very mindful about the color choices, what colors you are using. Then while doing a mindful practices, you can inculcate or involve these things in your day-to-day life. Then you can do lighting adjustment. If the color of the room is too bright, you can mellow it down or reduce it. And while doing art and creativity in your home or in your material, you can use different colors to invoke different emotions. And you can have a daily rituals, like in the morning, make sure you are having a yoga practice in an illuminated natural light. That will help having more energy. And evening may you can go for a relaxation techniques with warm lights. That's it. So remember, the impact of light and color can be subjective. So explore what works for you best.
Right.
Listen to yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bhavna ji. That was amazing. Thank you.
I think it was too lengthy to share, and it was really a challenging topic.
A marathon run.
Yeah, it was a marathon run. Yeah, if there are some questions left, I'm really
I'll
open
just
to take
invite our host for the evening, our observer for the evening, Vinay. I hand it over to you. Any comments you would like to say?
Looking forward.
So yeah, so this is definitely extensive and energetic as well. And I really want to comment, not comment, I want to just share my observations. Ritu, Shri set the tone for the evening by talking about the light and exactly the source of light and the science of light. And it's nothing to do with, light, something which is more to do with creating of light. It's not about allowing light to come your way. And, getting aware of the blockages and how can you ensure that the physical space is creating justice with respect to how the light and how the blockages can be talked about. And she really talked about how, how we can, when you accumulate things just out of, curiosity and you keep on accumulating, it actually creates some blockages, creates some obstacles for us. And she really spoke about something which is the clear physical ambience and how can you ensure that you can have that free flowing energy and you can talk about the physical space. She really created great analogies about Guru also, light and darkness. She, mixed her light with darkness and how Guru has light and darkness both. This is something very, very amazing, new awareness for me personally as well. And light as in halka, this is something which is I found out from her. So thank you so much for sharing. And I don't know the Ritu you are aware of that or not, but you have been one-time mentor for me in one of the training programs. So I always, like the way you present the facts and the way you present the things. So thank you so much for your enlightening sharing.
You're
And
most
again,
welcome.
adding up to what Bhavna shared, I mean, she really, combined and integrated the pieces. Yes, how the light can ensure the emotions also has a great value. So how, I mean, I've seen in the corporate world people creating logos with different lights, the colors of lights. It actually creates some emotions in our brain. So you really, talked about everything in detail about how light works and different scenarios, the significance of colors. You talked about how it impacts our brain and emotion. You started very beautifully, and you even talked about how the red color is seeing the red color, the reflection about it, and then were very comprehensive about how the whole scheme of light and emotions work. You also went on talking about the chakras, and it was really comprehensive. So over and above, this session was really enlightening for me personally. And if people have more questions from Ritu and Bhavna, so they are here for you to answer. Personally, I have one question, from Ritu and Bhavna both. So when I was actually buying my house, and I used to consult my Vastu consultant. The first thing that Vastu consultant used to come here, he was not looking at the maps and everything. He was just to be at the center of the house, and just feel how our emotional value, how emotional are you feeling at that point in time? आपको कैसा लग रहा है? तो वो मुझे बुलाता था कि आपको कैसा लग रहा है सेंटर में खड़े होके. If you feel good, good for you. So I just wanted to ask both of you, you can comment one by one, because it is a connected conversation between you, physical space and the emotions. So as a Vastu consultant, how often you just say that this is the right house to buy by just being in that particular space? So is that the correct way of gauging, or is this beginning point? How you really relate the whole scheme of things?
I would never base it only on that.
Okay.
I would not just base it on the emotional stuff, because there are other things to look at. Like I said, a toilet in the Northeast, and some entrances are a big no. And you won't really know till you haven't worked on the map precisely. Because right next to a big no entry is a very good entry. So like, in fact, there was one of my clients who said to me, "Arey, mera to ye wala kharab wala entry hai." So I knew him personally. I knew he was doing well. I knew he was prospering. I said, "Ho hi nahi sakta." So he said, "Look, this is the way it is," and all. So I said, "Show me your map. Send me your plans. Send me your Google location. I'll check it." And sure enough, it was the zone next to the bad entry. So which you can't make out by the naked eye. Like, even a toilet in the Northeast, like I told you about how I shifted the gas, right? And how close it was that I shifted, that the chimney was like that the lady at the cook actually moved it back, right? It didn't make much difference to her brain about, "Arey, maine shift kiya hai." It didn't seem like that to her. Now, only because you worked. So the way I've been taught by my guru is to do precise work. So it is like, so definitely the energy is important, and you do want to feel it. So I could do all the work. So my clients actually tell me, like, there's one of my clients for whom I've done 62 properties, and he would just call me up in the night and saying, "You're flying to Dubai tomorrow, or you're flying to Jalandhar tomorrow, or you're flying to Canada. When can you go?" क्योंकि कनाडा थोड़ा फार है, तो वो मेरे को थोड़ा लीवे दे देता है कि वीजा है कि नहीं टाइप्स. Otherwise, he'll just call me and he'll say, "I'm booking your ticket." Because he wants me to definitely experience the space. So when you're physically there, you can see certain things that might not be very visible on the map. Like the other day, he wanted to buy a school, and I went to, I flew to Amritsar and then went to some city of what, I think Jalandhar only. And, by on paper, the school looked great. I mean, I was like very happy for him that he's been wanting to buy a school for so long. But then when I went there, I saw these openings, and so there was this whole staircase which was not on the plan, and it was coming in the no zone, and so I told him, I said, you can't buy it. But to answer your question, I wouldn't just restrict myself to, because it's subjective,
Got it.
you know.
And yeah, so before I ask Bhavna to answer in the same perspective, I just have a follow-up questions with you, Ritu. How come the personalities impact the physical space? I've heard from many spiritual speakers, they say वास्तु जैसा भी है, अगर आपकी पर्सनालिटी अच्छी है तो आप किसी भी वास्तु के साथ बहुत अच्छा से कर सकते हो.
वो
I don't
वो
know.
पर्सनालिटी नहीं होता है वो. So it's basically for people who have their vibrations at a very high level. Okay, जैसे अगर वो आनंदमय कोश में पहुंच चुके हैं, तो then they're above the planets, and then they're above the impact of the worldly stuff. Okay, so for them, Vastu doesn't matter, and that's why a lot of mandirs, the Vastu doesn't impact that much, because there is so much of chanting happening. There's so much of, you're constantly raising vibrations. The diyas are being lit, and like there is this whole emotion being expressed like that, right? But what is it that you asked me?
So how is personalities impact?
So
Even if the vastu of
personality.
the space is
No,
good,
so they're
personalities are not
basically,
that great. Yeah.
yeah, so there are three. So for people who are not on a higher level of existence, which is like people like you and me, or like all of us. So there are three. So if you read the Gita talks about this a lot. Like there are almost from 13th chapter to the 18th chapter, it talks about it. And there are three kinds of people, so there is Satav, Rajas, and Tamas. Okay, so that's what we call Prakriti.
Yeah.
And just the way human beings have these three Prakritis, the physical properties also have these three Prakritis.
Okay.
So if you are a mismatch, say if you are primarily, say, Satav, right? And you have a very large bedroom, okay, then you are just going to kind of roll over in that space and never feel settled. So we do the work on matching the prakriti of our clients to their offices, their bedrooms,
Okay.
and the whole house prakriti is matched to, obviously you can't match it to everybody. We do match it with the astrology as much as we can as well. But since you said personality, so the prakriti, for me, astrology is also personality. So we do match their personal thing. Otherwise, the overall house will match it. I match it to the person who's hired me.
That's very
Unless that person is not, meaning unless that person is not very authoritative in the house. I mean, the person has to be the authority in the house.
That's very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So yeah, over to you, Bhavna. Bhavna, I just wanted to understand from you, from that space, that if you have, let's say, if I am an aggressive personality, and I want to create an impact to a set of people. So, what color should I, buy? Should the light color, or should it matches my personality? So, but I love to wear blacks because I'm basically very aggressive. But at the same time, I don't like to wear lights. So, how it has to be a balance between your personality and expressions?
So when we talk about expression or emotions or feelings, I'll definitely, go by your own intuition, the way you feel that particular day, because following, emotions are always backed by feelings. We normally say feel the emotion, right? So when we are feeling the emotion, we know what we really want at that particular time, right? What is the right thing for us to do? To do that and to learn that, one has to be really very well connected to yourself. Your gut should be strong in a layman term. But yes, if you don't like wearing, light or pastel color, and on that particular day, if you really want to show your sense of authority, also you can combine some lighter colors with a darker tone, or maybe you can plan to have a, from an images perspective, you can use a moderate tone, and instead of going for a, you know no, I've got lost of the question actually. Flow
So,
of
so
the
my
question. The
question was
question
like
was,
that many times people say, when you are very aggressive, so at least you should not wear loud colors. But I don't like to wear light colors at all. So that's my question to you. Should I, agree to what people are suggesting to, or should I go with what I like?
you should go by your like, but yes, pink being a pastel color, it has an aggressive tone in it. It is derived from the color red, so you can just modulate between that. And people who are saying don't wear louder colors are coming from that perception where louder colors actually um, add to the authority or the aggression of the person. So they believe in that color pattern theory, and then there are so many theories around. So if you still don't like it, don't wear it.
Okay.
It's okay. My call is always wear what you really
I was
want
on
to
a
wear.
personal question, but I was wondering how will people connect with the emotions? Like, um, should one hold on their emotions, or should one express their emotions as per what people are liking it? So that was my thought process. But
So
thank
one
you.
should express their emotion, and whatever, I've experimented this and I've discussed it with many of my friends. So whatever your state of emotion is, you tend to choose that color on that particular date. So what happens if you're feeling very uh, you know weak inside, then on that particular day you tend to choose a color which is actually going to increase your inner strength. So I have seen that people are choosing warmer tones on those particular days. So this is how color and your state of emotion affect. So when we tend to listen to yourself, because emotion is about, or feeling is about, listening to your inner self. If I'm feeling very confident that day, I may not choose red color because that's going to create a cluttered energy, or over energy is going to get accumulated. So one need to balance the energy based on your inner emotion or state of mind.
Great. Thank you so much, Ritu and Bhavna, for your kind
Thank you.
questions. And I invite anyone else who would like to answer or ask questions. I think someone has raised their hand. It's who is this? I'm not able to see that. You can speak up. Who's already raised their hand?
I'm here.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah, please ask. Yeah, please go ahead.
I hope you remember my name. I'm
Yes.
Nupur.
नहीं
Dr.
आपको पता है
Nupur, yes.
मुझे नाम सामने नहीं आ रहा है, तो आपका वो वीडियो भी सामने नहीं आ रहा है, मुझे पता नहीं कौन है आप.
सामने नहीं आ रहा है. अरे मैं बड़ा बड़ा दिख रही
Okay,
हूँ.
okay, ठीक है. Now I got it because my video setting is Nipur. Yes,
Shavana,
hi
please
Nipur. Yes,
spotlight
welcome
me
Nipur.
so
Sorry,
that everyone
Nipur.
can see me.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
I can see you. I
Okay.
can see you.
Yes,
So
Nipur, please go ahead.
I just joking. I was just making the things lighter. So I just wanted to ask, see, when we want to attract someone, what is the color?
That's interesting.
So many people, they want to attract people. They want to attract crowd. They want to attract, people towards us. What is that attracting color?
Orange.
Orange. Yes, that is the color, I think so, for 2024 also.
Yes, it's a color for 2024. It is a color of warmth, energy, celebration. It's a color of spirituality.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is Bhagwa color. And with Rituji, I would like to ask you, which is the direction where we can sit and attract people? like I'm sitting, in which direction I should be sitting, facing which direction, so that I can attract people towards me, so that they can listen to me like they are listening, all of us like here. So which direction is the best direction, so that we all at Mavin or anywhere, we can sit in that direction and attract people.
Um, so the east is the direction of social connections and not relationship, but social connections. So if you want to attract politicians and you want to attract your social environment, then you would sit in the east. If you want to get money from people, then you would sit in the northwest and face the southeast and have a conversation. If you're looking at personal close relationships, then you would use the southwest. And if you and the zone of sex and attraction is north of northwest, but I don't know what you're going to do there really. But like, so young couples, we put their rooms in that direction because that's like a good direction. And what else would you want to attract? So even when you want to sell products and you want your finished product, you put it in north of northwest. Like that's a good place to this thing. For public recognition, if you want public recognition, then south, because that's the zone of fame. So I guess that's it.
Amazing. हमें ये सारी जितने भी टिप्स है ना, दोनों ऑरेंज कलर और डायरेक्शन टिप्स सब हम यूज करने वाले हैं मेविन पे.
Please करना.
तो ऋतु, अगर मुझे पॉलिटिशियंस से बात करना तो ईस्ट डायरेक्शन से बात करूंगा तो अच्छा रहेगा.
Yes,
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल हम वही करेंगे. तो हमें जब पैसा कमाना होगा हम उस डायरेक्शन में बैठ जाएंगे, जब हमें लोगों को बुलाना होगा हम दूसरी डायरेक्शन में बैठ जाएंगे. We'll do that. Thank you so much,
especially if
Rituji,
you
and
want
thank
to,
you so much.
if you want people to pay you their money, like, they owe you money, then it works very well. Sit in the northwest facing the southeast and do your call and say, "Paise de do mere."
Amazing.
I have to ask.
अभी मैं चेक करती हूँ अपने कंपास से कि मैं किस डायरेक्शन में बैठी हूँ, पैसा आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Vinay. Thank you.
Yes, great. And anybody else has any questions? Thank you, Nipur, Dr. Nipur, for asking. And yeah, anybody else has any questions can put in the chat box, and also can come and unmute yourself and ask any question if you have any. I think people are not asking much questions, like already late here.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah. So thank you once again. Thank you, Bhavna and Ritu, for your enlightening sharing, and looking forward for more inputs in the coming sessions whenever it comes at Mavin. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I would like.
So I lost the connection over.
Okay, Minuji has any question.
Minuji have to say the last words.
Okay.
Yeah, last one. Before that, I wanted to confirm something from Ritushri. Like when you say in the east direction, do we sit in the east direction or do we face it?
Sit in the east direction.
So we are facing the west direction then.
No, you wouldn't be facing the west. Sit in the east and you can face, for politicians, now face the east only.
Okay,
face in the east and face the east. Okay, like if you sit in the east and you hold your compass and it should show east in front of you.
East in front of you. That's good. Thank you. Because I sit facing the east.
Okay, great. That's awesome. Then you are actually in any zone you sit, and if you're facing east, then you are increasing your connections.
No wonder Minuji has a lot of political connections, I'm telling you.
Yeah. No, not just political, actually. All connections. It's networking. But politicians for sure, but networking as well.
Okay, great.
मेरे बच्चे जब छोटे थे तो किसी ने बताया था कि ईस्ट में चलाना, so मैं उनको ईस्ट डायरेक्शन
हाँ, क्योंकि वो बच्चे छोटे होते हैं, वो ईस्ट ऑफ
मैं ही
नॉर्थ,
सुलाती थी।
हाँ, तो ईस्ट ऑफ नॉर्थ ईस्ट इज द डायरेक्शन ऑफ fun and joy.
Yes.
So for children to sleep there or even spend time there, play there. So whatever you will keep as an item in east of northeast, the children will be attracted to that. So like if you have no, sorry, not east of northeast. Sorry, west of southwest. Cancel. Okay.
We also get confused.
No. It's so east of
Okay,
northeast is
you
the
can
zone
be
of
to
joy and
teach it.
fun. Okay. So whatever you will put there, the children will be enjoying that. Okay. So like we have a piano in our house in the east of northeast. And my nephew learns the piano and he plays very well. In fact, this Saturday he has a whole show in his office, in his school. Sorry, he's 8 years old. And so whatever you put there, the child enjoys that. And whatever you put in the west southwest, uh, um, so we recommend that you put books so that the child studies.
मैं गिटार बजाना सीखना चाहती हूँ, मेरा गिटार जो है साउथ डायरेक्शन में रखा हुआ है, तो मैं उसको नॉर्थ डायरेक्शन,
तो नहीं, उसको साउथ वेस्ट में रख लो, या फिर
ओके
सीखना चाहते हो ना?
हाँ, सीखना चाहती हूँ, मैंने ट्राई किया फिर रख दिया।
हाँ, तो या तो उसको साउथ वेस्ट में रखो या वेस्ट ऑफ साउथ वेस्ट में रखो।
ओके, आई विल डू दैट। और मैं नेक्स्ट टाइम गिटार बजाती हुई नजर आऊंगी मेविन फेस्टिवल में, नेक्स्ट वाले में।
Perfect. We'll have a background music from you.
Yes.
Chalo. So I think we are coming to the end of the program now, and our reflection coach is missing. So you'll have to wait for the video we put online later on with the home task for you to go through. And today it was all about light in space and emotions, and we collected a lot of information and wonderful tips from our guests today. Thank you so much, Ritushri and Bhavna Monga. Thank you so much for being here. And a big thank you to Vinay as well for coordinating very well, and all the participants for joining us. And tomorrow we have another wonderful session dealing with shadows. So please do
Awesome.
join in. And
Yeah.
thank you so much, everyone.